Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Dorothy, good morning. Welcome to All Things Moore County. We've had conversations in the past about that swimming pool that
You're renting out?
Well, when I bought that house, it had a pool. I didn't want a pool. I never owned a pool.
That's a lot of work to own a pool.
Yep. And last year during the pandemic, because so many of the public pools were closed, I said, well, I'm going to turn a lemon into lemonade. So I fixed this pool up. It's a saltwater pool. And I had a lot of friends and their kids come over and use the pool in the summer when there was not a lot of exposure because of COVID.
Right.
So when I bought this older home and I renovated it, it had all this old pool furniture. Those tubular chairs with the plastic straps, half of them were broken. There was mildew on them, like you couldn't scrape it off. So I said, well, I'm not going to worry about the furniture. I'm just going to pressure wash it and call it a day.
Yeah.
So that didn't work.
I can imagine.
This is a true story. So, and my guests are sitting here listening, and I'm going to introduce them in a second. So this year, I said, nope, I have to do something that I would never even think of doing, and that would be to purchase pool furniture. Adirondack chairs.
You got to make a nice little oasis out there.
Yeah. Zero-gravity recliners, so that the people that come over, especially the parents who are there watching their kids, would have a comfortable place to sit.
Now I know where I want to go and spend my time off if I ever get any.
Well, again, never owning a pool and never getting into that merchandising of that particular facet of outdoor furniture, it was an education.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I say all that as a build-up to introducing Sam and Betty Glick, who own a business here in town called Gray Fox Outdoor. And it just so happens that they specialize in outdoor pool furniture, play sets, umbrellas, patio furniture. And in North Carolina, we always talk about there's a 9-month, 10-month outdoor season here. It's way longer than if you lived in the Northeast.
Oh, yeah, very much.
And my guests are just so happen to come from Pennsylvania, which is the Northeast, where you don't have an 8-month outdoor period, a living period. So I want to talk to Sam and Betty. When did you guys start your business? Because you're going to educate me, and I'm sorry that I did not meet you about 4 months ago. But I've driven by on Morganton Road where your showroom is, and you've got these beautiful, brightly colored, they call polywood chair. Poly material?
Yeah, it's poly material. So Polywood is kind of its own brand, more so.
Okay.
But the material in itself is called poly material. Poly is really short for high density polyethylene.
Okay.
So that's what the plastic is made out of that.
And I can tell it's low maintenance, easily cleanable, renewable, or at least long term it will hold up. Not like those old plastic mildewy chairs I inherited.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of our furniture comes with a 20-year warranty. All the stationary items come with a 20-year warranty.
Yeah.
But in the event that it would reach the end of its lifespan, it can actually be recycled again. You can take it back. You can either bring it back to us or whatever. We can send it back to the manufacturer. They'll recycle it again and use it again.
Tell me about some of the products that you have in your showroom.
Currently, we have a whole bunch of patio furniture,
right?
Because that's the thing that we sell the most of.
Right.
Then we have pavilions, pergolas, gazebos, play sets. We got a bunch of umbrellas, outdoor rugs, fire pits, all kinds of things. Basically a one-stop shop for anything to put on your patio.
Okay. So tell me your story. Betty, I want to ask you, how did you get to Moore County? How did you evolve to where you are in a business that is, pretty specific? And you picked North Carolina from Lancaster County in Pennsylvania. How did it all come about?
Well, mostly just because my husband made me come down here. No, I'm excited to be here. So he used to work for a company called Swing Kingdom, which is the play sets that we carry.
Okay.
And after we got married, when he was on the install crew, he would come down south a lot, and he always said, "I'm moving south one day." And so after we got married, he'd keep putting a bug in my ear occasionally, and there was no way I was going to move that far away from my family.
Yeah.
But we also wanted to own our own business. And as a little bit of time went on,
Right.
we just really came to the realization of, this is our life.
Yep.
And what do we want to do with it, and where do we want to go?
Right.
And so that's kind of when I started being open-minded about moving somewhere. And we just looked at, what are our experiences so far in life? What are we good at? And so we kind of ran with, well, Sam worked for Swing Kingdom for 16 years. What if we opened up an outdoor store? And he wanted to move south, so we did that too.
Right.
So just slowly but surely, kind of started dreaming and putting it into place.
How long have you all been married?
We've been married.
5 years?
Are you sure?
5.5.
I'm just-
A little over 5 years.
5 and a
Yeah,
half?
it's
Yeah.
5. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long have you known each other prior to that?
Prior to that, we've known each other for about 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
We've known each other total for like 9 to 10 years.
It's actually 12.
Is it? Oh,
It's-
wow. Okay.
You
Because
did-
we met when I was 16.
you
She's got a better
cannot, you
memory.
cannot correct her. She's gonna be right.
Yeah.
So were you like high school sweethearts? Was it in school?
No,
No.
not necessarily. Kind of going back to some of our background,
Yep.
we met each other when we were teenagers. So like
Right.
in the Rumspringa stage.
We were
We'll
both
get
born
to
and
that,
raised Amish.
but,
If we didn't
yeah.
say that
So
before, now we are.
But yeah, we both ended up at a rodeo in Harrisburg,
Okay.
which is in about an hour from Lancaster.
Yep.
And her and her friend needed a ride home from the
Don't
rodeo.
ask why. I have no
But-
idea.
So we had some room in our vehicle, and so they just rode back with us, and that was kind of the first time that we
Yeah.
really met and got to hang out. So yeah,
Before the show, we were talking a little bit, and I went to college in the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania and lived in Wayne and Newtown Square.
I used to work at the market there. The market in Wayne.
Which the farmers market?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Do you know I
Yeah.
used to go there?
No way.
Not only did I used to go there,
That's
it's
awesome.
on Highway 30,
Yeah.
the main line.
Yeah.
When I lived there, way back when, I'll just date myself. One of the people that used to always go to the farmers market there was a guy by the name of Dick Vermeil, who became the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles in the 80s. And he and his wife would be frequent visitors to the Devon. Was it called the Devon Farmers Market, or just the?
They call it the Wayne Farmers
the Wayne
Market, but
Farmers
it's
Market.
very close to Devon. Yeah.
So I used to go in there and buy ground coffee. Oh my gosh, the cabbage. There was a lot of Amish food.
Yeah.
Specialties, cinnamon rolls,
oh yeah,
and it was a very iconic. Is it still there?
It is still there. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I started, my great uncle used to own the little bakery, probably the one that you're talking about, where you got your cinnamon rolls.
Probably.
I started working there when I was 12, I believe. I
Right.
just worked on Saturdays, and then
Right.
during the summer I would work more.
Right.
But then that led me into working at the little restaurant that was there, the luncheonette.
Yes.
So I worked there for, I believe it was a little over 8 years, and I was the manager there.
No kidding.
Yeah, and then I took a little bit of time off because they ended up moving, so they got new owners there. But then I worked for one of the other standholders there, La Delicatesse.
So the area you're talking about was where Conestoga High School was, Radnor, Valley Forge Military Academy, very close to what's known as King of Prussia.
Yeah.
So I used to travel through Pennsylvania when I was in the jewelry business, and I would go to a lot of the smaller towns, Lebanon, Lidditz, Ephrata, State College, Bedford Springs, everywhere, Chambersburg. And there was a place I used to go to eat. called Zens Diner.
Zens. Which area?
Okay, so now you're dating me because Zens was an Amish style diner off the Reading exit on the PA Turnpike. It was about I think it was in Lidditz. I don't know if that was I'm not sure about the town, but it was about 10 or 15 minutes off the Reading exit. And it was a very iconic place. And we used to literally drive from Valley Forge to go to Zens just to eat. The food was so good.
Wow.
But your the question of Zens, it doesn't ring a bell with you. I'm wondering if they're still in business.
I never heard of them
Oh,
when
my
we lived up
gosh.
there, so I don't.
Okay.
I mean, how long ago?
In the 80s, in the
Okay,
90s.
so
Mostly
yeah,
the 80s.
I'm not sure, maybe.
It's okay. There are people who live here who are members of the civic generation, the baby boomer generation. If they're from Pennsylvania and that area, they will know of Zins. It was just south of Reading in the Berkshire area there.
Okay.
But so I had many fond memories, and you can always tell when someone does not know Lancaster because they pronounce it Lancaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
So when someone says, "Oh, I'm going to Lancaster,"
Yeah.
no, you're not.
Y-
You don't know
yeah,
where you are. You're
exactly.
in Lancaster, Ohio.
Yeah.
Why is that? The pronunciation? It's Lancaster.
It is, yeah. Everybody I know up there. Well, there's of course transplants to
Yeah.
Lancaster that call it Lancaster until they get corrected often enough.
That's what all the New Yorkers used to do.
yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go to Lancaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you grew up there, and why did you pick Moore County? Did you just go to a map and stick a pin in the map, or did you study it?
Not too much short of that. Yeah, not too much short of throwing a dart at the map. So when I was working for Swing Kingdom, we used to have a distributor. Swing Kingdom had a distributor in Fayetteville, but he was killed in a bike accident and then some years ago, and he did very well over there. So when we kind of started looking around, because we knew we wanted to go south, we started looking around and looked over into that area because I knew he did pretty well over there. And then we started comparing kind of areas around there.
Yep.
And really just looking at the map and saw Southern Pines and thought, hey, this is probably going to be a nice area. So
Yeah, and we just found out that we were having a baby too. Like
That's
shortly
true, yeah.
after we decided to move. So then that was on our radar of like, okay, we need to look at school districts because our goal was to, wherever we move in our home,
Right.
we wanted to be there at least 5 years if possible.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Sam is great at researching things, and Moore County schools
Right.
are really good.
You have 2 children.
Yes.
Ages?
2.5 and almost 6
Yeah.
months.
Oh boy! So you got right. So active young family.
Yeah.
I noticed the ad that you guys did in the Sandhills magazine. You were sporting your oldest daughter, and
Yes.
you were expecting at the
Yes.
time. 2 girls?
A girl and a boy.
Girl and a boy.
Gabriella and Logan.
Okay. So you came down here with a vision. You picked the spot. By the way, you picked a very good spot because I grew up in the New York, northern New Jersey area, and I always wanted to come south, but I wasn't sure why, and I just did it. And sometimes, if your spirit there's a calling. You just follow it. You don't maybe understand it completely,
Yeah.
but you just do it, and
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like you did.
Definitely
We did.
looking back to where, being that we ended up here, it was definitely a godsend to be
Yeah.
here in this moment in time, for sure.
So where do you live here in Moore County?
We live in Aberdeen.
You live in Aberdeen?
Yes.
Okay. And your showroom is 225 West Morganton, right across from the baseball field.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right off where First National Bank is.
Yeah.
Very high visibility area. How did you hook up with Francie Thompson, who is, I guess, the landlord?
Yeah. She's the landlord where we are. We found the place online, and it was through Bell Manley was helping her with the leasing and all that.
Yeah.
So we reached out to them, and then, we scheduled a time to come down.
Yep.
And check it all out. So that's kind of how we got connected there online. But then, of course, we met Francie and Craig,
Yeah.
and loved it. So yeah.
So you've been here now 3 years total, or a little more?
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3
Yeah.
years.
This fall. We had moved right after Thanksgiving of 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
And both your families are still in Lancaster?
Correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go back and forth to visit?
Yeah,
do.
it actually works out very well because most of our product is made in Lancaster by the Amish. So we go up, once we have a load to pick up, we go up, spend the weekend, and then load
Perfect.
up stuff and bring it down.
You know what they say when grandparents, they'll move anywhere in the country to be closer to their grandchildren. If you move to the northernmost point of Michigan
Yeah.
in the dead of winter,
Yeah.
your parents would follow
Yeah.
because they would be close to the grandchildren.
Yeah.
Have they been down to visit?
So my parents were down when we moved to help us kind of get all, settled in. But since they haven't been down, because my parents are still Amish, her parents are not. So
Okay.
they come down a little bit easier, or her dad comes down a little bit easier than my parents will. But there's also not quite as much of a drive for my parents because, let's see, we have 2 children and they have, almost 100 other grandchildren?
There is,
So
I think, right?
I come from a very large family. So
Yes.
there's not as much of a drive. They have a lot of other grandchildren, to visit.
And since we're from Lancaster, most of them live in that area too. And they would obviously never, or I don't think ever move here, but they talk about coming down on the train because the Amtrak runs right through Southern Pines.
That's right. That's right.
And we try and every time we go visit, we're like, hey, when are you guys going to come? Like, you need to come see us.
Yeah.
But they're a lot older too. So it's a little bit harder for them to get up and go.
Yeah.
They're still doing well and healthy, but there is some concerns. So it's understandable.
I was telling you when I lived in the Wayne, Newtown Square area way back when, they actually were filming the movie that starred Harrison Ford and Kelly McGillis called Witness. It was one of my favorite movies, and it depicted the life, Amish life, and I don't know that it was an accurate, fully accurate depiction, but I want to come back in the second set and talk to you a little bit about it because the Amish people that I've known and I have met, very disciplined, hardworking, minimalistic in terms of keeping things simple and straight, but lived outside of the, all the overtures of our society. And I'd love to pierce some of those misconceptions if there were. But I think a lot of people watched Witness and said, oh my gosh, this is another different way of life. But here you are in Aberdeen now, in a new life, new beginning. We're talking with Sam and Betty Glick. They're the owners of Gray Fox Outdoor on Morganton Road in Southern Pines, and they've been here 3 years. We're going to come back and talk more with them on all things Moore County. Welcome back to our second set of All Things Moore County, speaking with Sam and Betty Glick. They're the owners of Gray Fox Outdoor. They've been here almost 3 years. They moved from Lancaster County. We do want to talk about your business. And now that I am a pool owner, you're going to educate me a little bit. But before we segue into that, help me out with the what we were talking about at the end of the first set when the movie Witness came out with Harrison Ford and Kelly McGillis. How accurate was the way they depicted life in the Amish country? Because it's not just Lancaster County; it's Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, different different, like Ohio, the Holmes County Amish in Ohio and Lancaster County Amish. They're a little bit different,
Yeah.
but still pretty close to the same. It's been a very long time since I saw that movie, but from the best I can tell, it's pretty accurate.
Were you homeschooled?
No.
You went to public school?
So most Amish send their kids to some. Well, do some Amish homeschool?
No,
I don't. Not necessarily.
No,
but
we have
they have
own
their own school
school
system.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like a one-room classroom. Nowadays, it's a little bit different. Some of them have like 1st to 4th grade in like maybe the first level of the building, and then the second level is like 5th to 8th. But we have our own schools.
And one teacher for all classes?
It was for us.
When I was going to school, it was 1st through 8th. Sometimes part of the year kindergarten too, but 1st through 8th, one teacher.
Or maybe they would have a helper, depending on how many students were in that school district. They would have a helper who came 2 or 3 days a week just to help, help with the class that day or go over lessons and things like that.
Yeah.
People can they can Google or YouTube Witness and see what happens when the Philadelphia, the civilization of an urban area like Philadelphia comes to Lancaster County, and how the two clashed, and how it helped transform the character played by Harrison Ford, who was a police officer, through the eyes of Kelly McGillis and her strict father. In the movie, he was so strict. And is that strictness? Is that today? Is it the same as it was?
It varies a lot from family to family, but as a general rule of thumb, I would say yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about your upbringing and your discipline and how it transfers into the business that you're in. I mean, you're an independent business person, entrepreneur.
Yeah.
How did one influence the other?
I was born and raised on a dairy farm. So, I was up early and up late. Because, the work of a dairy farm or a farmer is never done, farmer in general. So that just taught me a lot of discipline as far as, working hard to get to where you want to be. And
But now he sleeps in every day.
Yeah, now. Yeah, it's true.
Till like 6 in the morning.
Yeah. Well, actually, during my tenure at Swing Kingdom, I was up even earlier than when I was dairy farming. So, there's that too. So,
you came down here with a set of lofty goals. You've been doing this now for almost 3 years. As you stand here and look back, where are you on the pendulum? Are you where you want to be? Are you moving in the direction you want? Have there been any missteps, any unforeseen obstacles, or maybe some rewards that you didn't even anticipate?
Yeah, so I would say we're even further ahead than what our goals were going to be, what our goals were when we moved. And there's a lot of, so during COVID, every outdoor business that we've talked
tough
to,
business,
just
right.
they just absolutely skyrocketed like crazy. Their sales went up like crazy. But then on the downside of that is it's harder to get product in. So
right.
But no, it's been very good, and there's of course every business has hiccups here and there. So
tell me, because this is a business that I'm not really familiar with. Do you have much competition in Moore County for what you do?
Not at this point, no. Not for the product that we have.
Right.
Because like I said, it's all made in Lancaster by the Amish, and there's not a whole lot like that around here.
Are all the product lines that you carry made in Lancaster County?
With the exception of our umbrellas and outdoor rugs, those are not. But everything else, everything else that we have is made by the Amish in Lancaster.
Okay. Do you work with, because so many people here put so much of an emphasis on their outdoor environment, do you wind up working with either builders or landscape architects or pool companies where you get to piggyback the product through different ways other than just directly through consumers?
We have a few times, not as often as we'd like. I mean, definitely be open to partnerships, but we have a few times. Yeah.
How do you broadcast your business? How do you advertise your business?
Mostly magazines.
Okay.
Those have done very well. Sandhills Magazine, Pine Straw Magazine. Those have done done extremely well for us. We've done some things, some radio, some
And word of mouth.
pilot.
is a
Yeah,
lot.
word
I
of mouth
mean,
has been a lot. So we get a lot of referrals from existing clients,
Yeah.
which has been great.
And your website?
Yeah, we do have a website.
Yeah.
We don't have an online store at this point, but we have all of our product on there to kind of showcase what we do and what we can do.
We also try to keep our social media active. We have Instagram and Facebook.
Right.
Yeah.
But during the busy seasons when we do a lot of installs, of course that lacks a little bit because Sam kind of handles a lot of that. But
Okay.
yeah.
One of the coolest things about living in Moore County is because it's such a integral small community, you can, in a very short period of time, get the word out about your business, and maybe not have to rely as much on social media, although that's a great way to grow your business where people would purchase from you online and not just locally, right?
Yeah. That's what we found too, is it's, like you said, a very close-knit community, so the word gets around very quickly.
Yeah. So you've been married for 4 to 5 years, and you knew each other since you were 16.
Yeah.
So how do you guys work together as partners?
If I'm going to say, I would say very well.
Uh-huh.
Most days, of
I-
course, we have our disagreements here and there,
Yeah.
but
I think we work really well together. And when we need a break, then I just stay home or he has an installation. And then when
Right.
we come back and we're working together, we're really thankful.
Right.
yeah. No, we work together pretty well.
Yeah.
What did Fourth say the other day? That we I don't know, we read each other's mind or whatever it is. It was something like that.
So
yeah,
Fourth
we're
was
like
on-
not in sync, but something like that.
Yeah.
I agree with him. You guys have a good vibe,
Yeah.
the two of you. The way you speak to each other, you listen, you respect each other. I can just see it, and that's not always the case with people.
Yeah.
We try.
I don't know if you have to try that hard. I think it flows.
It does come naturally, yeah.
Yeah.
So have you been working with Fourth Hefner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's our business coach.
He's
So-
fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was on the show a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And he is actually a neighbor of mine, lives right down the street. We live about 8, 9 homes apart from each other on
Okay.
Valley. And I knew Fourth when he was in the landscape business.
Yeah.
So how did you hook up with him? How did it all start?
Well, he was actually one of our first playset clients.
Well, he
when we
was
opened. So
even just one of our first
it?
customers,
Yeah.
I think.
So they had bought a playset from us March. Was it
Yeah.
March of
It was
19?
It was
Well,
our
first couple months that
first
we were open.
installation that you and I did together.
Yeah. That's true. it was,
Gabriella
yeah.
was just a couple months old
Mm-hmm.
because when we opened our showroom, we opened it in the middle of January on the 15th, and 2 days later, Gabriella was born. So
Mm-hmm.
she just couldn't wait to come. But so she hung out in her stroller, and we
Yeah.
put his playset up for him, and
Fourth's
kinda cool.
children, they're a couple of years older than yours?
they are.
Okay.
Yeah, they now have 3 kids. They just had their daughter.
Okay. So you have that in common as well.
Yes.
So he's been giving you some direction and goals and I guess a system
Yeah.
where you
Yes.
can move forward.
Yeah, it's been very great
Yes.
because it's so easy to get kind of, as business owners, get lost in the day-to-day of business, and not think bigger picture.
Right.
So
Yeah.
having somebody like Fourth come in has been very huge for us.
Yeah.
Is Gray Fox Outdoor just the two of you are running it? Do you have
It
any
is.
other?
Yes.
Okay.
At this point, no, it's just
Yeah.
the two of us.
So you're the
Yeah.
chief bottle washers, cooks,
Right?
everything,
Yeah, everything.
right?
That's right.
We're,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gearing up for an employee though. We're hoping to hire somebody either this fall/winter, part-time or full-time, depending on the person, and then absolutely full-time once February hits of next year. It's just too much. We just can't handle it on our own anymore.
Okay.
And especially with having 2 kids, I would like to have some more time at home because, laundry piles up and it gets a little crazy. But we're making it work, and we just like to support local restaurants and eat out a lot.
Yeah.
You say it gets a little crazy, but you don't look like anything would drive you crazy. You look like you have a really good disposition to handle whatever the world puts at your feet, and you'll do it with a smile. Oh, no,
Well,
honestly.
I try my best. I mean, you have to. What else are you going to do? It doesn't help to wallow in, pity, so to speak. Like, you signed up for this, so you need to grab the bull by the horns and take care of it.
It also takes a lot to frazzle you, depending on what it is. But yeah, you don't get frazzled very easily.
Okay.
I love the way these guys talk to each other.
Yeah.
You guys really do. I'm really impressed. So do you target families with children for play sets? Do you target pool owners for outdoor pool furniture, or just, how do you earmark your different groups?
That was kind of our goal moving, starting the business and everything. We were going to, because my expertise was play sets.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we were going to push. But after we set up shop and did all this and that, we discovered the biggest demand is patio furniture, because there's not really anything around that offers good quality patio furniture. So that's kind of what we've been pushing now.
Okay.
But we do, we do commercial play sets too. So we've done some for neighborhoods in the area, churches. We do all that stuff too. But
when we come back in the third set, I want to open up and talk to you about how you compete with the Amazons of the world, because there is a competition out there that might not be geographically, physically here, but it's out there a click away. Our guests are Sam and Betty Glick of Gray Fox Outdoor. What a great young couple. Their business is 225 West Morganton Road, across from the ball field, and they're in their third year of business. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our final set of All Things Moore County, speaking with Sam and Betty Glick, the owners of Gray Fox Outdoor. Is it outdoor, just outdoor furniture, or just outdoor living?
It's just Gray Fox Outdoor.
Gray Fox Outdoor.
That way we're not limiting ourselves to what we carry one day.
So you can expand. Yeah, that's a smart thing what you just said, because sometimes retailers will limit themselves if their inventory variety is too narrow. You need to have the ability to open up to different types of merchandise under the same umbrella, right? So the world it's a funny place, the way people shop, and I have a feeling last year COVID and the pandemic was the biggest boom to online retailer.
Definitely.
Right? People they weren't going out. They certainly weren't going to go into stores, but they could go into Amazon or, oh my gosh, the different places. And that's a real competition that's out there. Yeah. How do you combat that?
So it's very difficult to combat that, because we of course we do all of our business out of the showroom there. But one of the things that we offer, or a couple things that we offer that not very many online retailers will, is all of our things are customizable. So there's not really, like, take play sets for example, there's not now of course there's models that are standard units, but there's not a cookie cutter design that you have to buy. They're completely customizable down to the color. And then same way with the furniture too, customizable, which you can sometimes do a little bit of online, but it's very difficult to, especially if you can't sit down in a showroom or have somebody bring colors out. Like we'll bring things out and kind of help you coordinate in your space. And
we're
then,
not designers, but we will help create your space.
And then of course there's we do free local delivery and installation too. So we'll that's especially with play sets, a lot of the things that I ran into when I was working at Swing Kingdom is, people bought these wooden units online, had them shipped to their house, and then had to spend 2-3 weeks putting the things together. Whereas we'll bring them out.
Tell me about it. I agree with you that
Yeah.
I can't put a light bulb into a socket. And, no, I can't. And the assembly that is required on some of these things that come in, oh my God, I had to hire someone to come out and do it.
Yeah.
But there is a cost, maybe an added cost to the service you provide. But people get to see, touch, feel. And do you go on site to? Do you go to different homes or patios? Do you eyeball what you're looking at before you do a layout?
Yeah, if it's needed, yeah. We a lot of what we do is clients usually come in with a general picture of what they're looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've done it multiple times where we'll come out and help kind of lay out the space. Say you could fill this up with this or whatever. So.
And especially for a structure too, it's always nice to get out there to take measurements to make sure that when we come out for installation, it is the correct size, the footers are in the right spot. All of those little details make a big difference.
So you do the installation. Okay. Because, even the Adirondack chairs, they have to be put together, right?
Yeah, well, so we pick them up in Lancaster, most of the time assembled. Now, we've started recently, especially the Adirondacks, getting them boxed up because they take less room when we store them to have them in stock.
Yeah.
But as a rule of thumb, all the furniture is put together, assembled when we pick it up.
So because of the large size of the finished product that you have, you must have a lot of square footage in your showroom.
It's not enough.
It's not enough, right?
We do have a good bit of space, but we're definitely outgrowing the space very quickly.
How many square feet do you have?
It's about 3,000 square feet.
So where do you go, though, in Moore County to get more square footage that would be competitive, that would not, create a real situation with an expensive lease?
Yeah. We're
on the hunt for
we're on the hunt for something.
a new location. Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it's especially in today's market too. It's a little difficult to find something that would be suitable for what we needed to do.
And it would probably be too cost prohibitive to find a lot and build a facility.
Not necessarily. That's definitely one of our
options.
Yeah, one of our options. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself 2 or 3 years from now? You've been in it a little under 3 years. Where do you hope to be 3 years from today?
Well, we hope to have a new location, a different spot to be at. We're hoping to move and have at least 5 to 10 acres. And
oh, wow.
Yeah,
oh,
we want to
goodness.
be a staple in the community, not just for American made products and outdoor products, but we want to have a spot for families to come to. So kind of our vision of what we see is we want to have a designated play area for kids to come. Moms can come out, meet their friends. We want to have some food on site, so maybe bring some of those specialty Lancaster County goods, pick up some whoopie pies and things like that from Lancaster when Sam goes up. So we'll have those. But we also want to have not a restaurant, so to speak, but a cafe, and that's something that I will probably run more so.
Okay.
Most of my career, so to speak, has been in the food industry, and I mean, who doesn't love to eat? But that's that's kind of where I would like to be. I love the position that I'm in now and what we do, and especially raising kids. But I'd like to get, have a spot where you can come and grab lunch and hang out as a family and be together.
Does this 5 to 10 acre parcel and this infrastructure that you're talking about, does that also include a residence where you would live?
Probably not.
No.
We would like to keep that separate.
Okay.
That way we have some space of when I want a day off, I can actually have a day off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So most of the acreage will be, we want to have a larger outdoor display. Because right now it's all inside, so it's a little hard to see. But, a lot of our play sets, pavilions, that kind of thing would make a great outdoor display. So that's kind of our main drive behind having that much space.
I don't know your business, but wouldn't it be advantageous to you to have a strong visual online presence with beautiful pictures? Because
Yeah.
what amazes me is that people who are buying things online, and 20 years ago, people would say, "I'm not buying anything online. I don't trust the process." Today,
Yeah.
people are buying shoes. They're buying
Yeah.
clothes without trying them on, touching them, feeling them.
Yeah.
They're buying everything online, and they just, but they take their chances when something comes in.
Yeah.
So how do you combat that? Photography, YouTube videos. What do you do?
Yeah, definitely.
Those are great points. But I think also to keep it personal, like when they come into our store, they're not only buying a product, but they get to know us, and we want to get to know them.
Yes.
There's so much more to that, and we hope that
Yeah.
they feel comforted when they come in. But our website is geared, also has a little bit about us, so that when people come in, they already kind of feel like they know us.
Right.
But to your point on that, we do. That's also in our very short term goals, is to build some kind of online store to at least offer some of the basics, like Adirondack chairs or what have you, just to at least have something to offer online in case somebody wants to buy an Adirondack chair without coming face to face with somebody, which you're definitely starting to see more and more of that, like you said.
Do people who want to come in and replace maybe their patio furniture or their pool furniture, do you provide a service where you would also, in terms of delivering and setting up the new things, remove the old?
Yeah, we have several times. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll take it to, if it's in decent shape, and Habitat or Goodwill will take it. Well, most of the time Habitat will take something like that, but if it's in good shape.
So do you do play sets, patio furniture, fire pits? Fire pits are a big deal here.
Yeah. So, I mean, this time of the year, maybe not so much,
Yeah,
but yeah,
right.
in the fall, yeah, definitely. They're made in Lancaster as well, made by Brio. It's
Okay.
a smokeless design. So the way it works is the double wall draws air in from the bottom, and it has holes along the inside of the fire pit. That extra oxygen getting introduced back into the fire helps burn off the smoke that's coming off the fire. So it reduces the smoke by a lot.
But we also have propane fire tables that's made from the poly lumber.
Okay.
So we can do wood burning or propane.
And all your products are American made?
Most of them, with
Okay.
the exception of like some accessories on the play sets, and some of the umbrellas are not. But
Yeah.
our niche is American made products.
And then rugs, outdoor rugs, of course. A
Yes.
lot of those, I mean, that's kind of a global thing. You can pick rugs that are woven all over the world,
Okay.
depending on the style you choose.
Are you guys getting involved in either the Southern Pines Business Association, the Chamber, the different organizations?
We haven't really gotten into a whole lot of the other ones, but we've been a chamber member pretty much since we opened.
Yeah.
The spring that we opened, we became a chamber member because there's a lot of value in that, for sure.
Since you got here, I don't know if you've had a chance to see Springfest in
Yeah.
downtown Southern Pines or the Aberdeen. Okay.
Yeah.
The street fairs are a great way to introduce your business. Although last year they didn't have it.
Yeah.
This year was
Yeah.
rain. It was not a very good weather event.
And a lot of that for us too is, so we haven't been able to be a vendor at those places yet because we don't manufacture our own product. So like Springfest and is it Holly Arts and Crafts in Pinehurst.
Yes.
We haven't been able to be a vendor there, but
Okay.
that's manufacturing some products in the near future is definitely in the pipeline for us. So yeah.
You guys are here to stay, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
We
home.
don't plan to go anywhere.
This
We
is
love
home.
it here. Yeah.
Yeah, and you as much as you want to get down to the south, you still have your Pennsylvania accent. You're not going to
Yeah.
have the southern accent.
That probably won't go anywhere. Yeah.
So most people here are not from the south. There are a lot of transplants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot from the Northeast, a lot from Pennsylvania, the Mid-Atlantic, New England, Ohio.
Yeah.
But and your kids will go to school here in the public school system when the time is right.
Possibly. We're not sure. I
Okay.
would have never been open to homeschooling
Okay.
until COVID hit, which probably a lot of parents have said. So
Right.
we're kind of being open-minded on that, and just, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And yeah.
It's been a pleasure to talk with both of you. You guys both really have a great vibe. And I encourage people to get into Gray Fox Outdoor and see what is going on there. And I wish you guys the ability to continue to get out and grow your business and grow your base and solidify your presence in Moore County. It's a very good story.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having us on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And
Thank you. Well, Fourth is, when he was on, and I really enjoyed talking with him, and he put us together, so I want to thank him for that. And, this is a great place to live, and I tell people all the time, it's also a great place to wake up every morning.
Yeah.
So congratulations, you picked a good spot.
thank you very much.
Everybody,
I think we did.
have a great week. Thank you for listening.